Okay, fine, you were right. I was wrong. My upload schedule, I never know how to say that word, trying to reach the 100,000 subscriber milestone has been an absolute killer. And I know I didn't announce this, but I'm taking a week off this week. I've got to recharge my batteries, and I will be getting back to my normal upload schedule. My normal uploads will resume on Monday the 30th of December. But in the meantime, I've edited together, well, when I say I've edited together, Callum has edited together the top 10 CC videos from 2024 for your viewing pleasure. But before we have a look at that video, this video, which is that video, I'm really tired. Today's video is sponsored by Flexispot. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you again on Shut Up Phone. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, and I will see you again on Monday. Well, hello, chilled out Christmas Creaky here, lounging in my comfy Flexispot C7 chair. But the real question is, why aren't you sitting in yours? Christmas is all about comfort, and let me tell you, the C7 ergonomic chair has got me feeling like I'm living in my own little winter wonderland. Just like the oblate spheroid we all live on. Your spine has natural curve, so why not give it the support it deserves? And you know what isn't a conspiracy theory? The comfort of the Flexispot C7. It's got lumbar support that's as real as gravity, keeping you comfy through those long holiday hours, whether you're working, shopping, or dealing with the latest questionable theories about the world we live in. The C7 chair doesn't just support your back, it supports your entire day, whether you're juggling Christmas shopping, tackling emails, or just lounging around, like me. It keeps you comfortable and focused. Plus, unlike the flat earth theory, once it's built, it's not going to fall apart anytime soon. So this Christmas, treat yourself, or someone you know, to the ultimate comfort with the Flexispot C7 chair. Use code C730 to get $30 off. So upgrade your workspace. I did it again. So upgrade your workspace. Oh my God. So upgrade your workspace with Flexispot's Christmas discount. Save $30 with code C730. And there's a link in the description. So go and get yourself comfy. And hey, why not treat yourself this Christmas? You deserve to be comfortable too. Right then, back to the video.
I don't know, because none of it exists.
It would seem that the old saying is right, and patience is a virtue after all.
We are aware of this whole nonsense that's been going on about this 24-hour sun. And it doesn't really prove anything to a flat earther, because
You all ignore any piece of evidence that's presented to you unless it backs up what you already believe. Did I get it right? Please subscribe. I am so excited. CC is finally gonna give his opinion on the final experiment. So let's see what he's got to say, shall we? I'm sure it'll be very, very smart.
if there was a sun that is 24 hours in the sky, I'm not saying there's no light. There is a light there, but that's an alternate source of light.
And that, boys and girls, is what's known as having your cake and eating it.
Oh man, I love the cake!
So there won't be a 24-hour sun, but it will still stay light for 24 hours. Is that pretty much what we're saying, Chris?
Well, if you go onto the live feed, it's all edited. If it really did do that, then it would be all over.
Well, first of all, how exactly are they editing it if it's a live feed? And secondly, did you just say that if the sun does stay up for 24 hours, then it's all over? To be fair to you, you were 100% right. It will be all over. The flat earth.
You and me, we used to be together.
You're too late, guys, okay? You're too late.
Too late for what?
Maybe it might have worked back in 2019 and maybe 2018 or something like that.
What would have worked? The final experiment? Chris, the final experiment would work in 1922 or 1969. 2020, it doesn't matter what year it is. From late September to late March, the sun does not set in Antarctica.
No. It's 2024. You're too late. It's bullshit. You know, most of us, and I'm a big believer in it, and I'm actually trying to prove it. It's very difficult. Is the digital world. We all have our own sun. We all have our own stars. We have our own moon.
No, we're not doing that again, Chris. So your claim is that there are 8 billion suns and 8 billion moons and God knows how many stars, all individualized for every single person on Earth.
When you see the moon reflecting off of the lake and it's popping up at you, and you have somebody standing over there on the opposite side of the lake, they see the moon in a different position than you're looking at it in your position.
Okay, so that's as clear as mud.
The world we live on is flat, and we have proven it time and time again. That's a testable experiment that you can use anytime you want. Go to the beach.
Yeah, but go to the beach for what? Is it to look at the horizon, which is only possible because the Earth is an oblate spheroid? Yeah, nice advice, genius. And somebody said something to me in a comment the other day, and it made my brain kick into overdrive and start thinking about something that is so crucial to the flat Earth that I can't believe I never thought of it before. You do realize that flat isn't a shape, don't you? It's an adjective used to describe the appearance of something. So it's like saying that the Earth is smooth. Explain that one, flat earthers.
Why can't you see to China? Or why can't you see to Spain? Okay, well, did you know the air contains 99% water?
What? What the fuck?
And I suppose the other 1% is pure imagination. Look, if air were 99% water, we'd be living in a bloody aquarium and my pet goldfish would be leading the charge for world domination. But until we see Nemo on the ballot, I'm gonna stick with the science that says air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen. The percentage of water in air, commonly referred to as humidity, varies depending on the temperature and the location. And on average, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is about 1 to 4% by volume. So keep it up, Chris. You're doing a great job.
They're desperate. They're desperate. Okay, they're trying to hold on to this ball that doesn't exist, or it's a psyop. And these people have been put into this position. Okay? Who knows what it is?
Well, you clearly don't.
If you were a god, wouldn't you want the species down here to know that you exist? By putting little Easter eggs around? You know, like, for example, the sun, the moon.
Very interesting, Christopher. Now you were referring to the sun and the moon, singular, because God did it. Have you forgotten that you just a few seconds ago said that everybody on Earth had their own individual sun and moon? Where exactly does God fit into that idea?
A circle, a perfect circle, which the sun is and the moon is.
But a circle is a two-dimensional shape, Chris, so how exactly does that work? Now, I'm going to base this on the assumption that you meant spherical, because that's exactly what the moon and the sun are. So why is it that the sun and the moon are perfect spheres, but the Earth is flat?
Now, the stars, I don't know what the hell they are, but they're certainly not in space. Okay, they're lights in the sky.
See, now that just sums up flat earthers perfectly. I don't know what shape Earth is, but I know it's not a globe. And next you'll be expecting us to believe that those lights in the sky are just the universe's way of setting the mood for some nighttime selfies. Yeah, stars being massive balls of burning gas millions of miles away sounds a bit far-fetched, but light bulbs screwed into the sky by a cosmic handyman? Totally plausible.
We've proven that. We've focused in on these things.
Yeah, but can you back up anything you say? Because as far as I'm concerned...
You couldn't back up a phone, you cunt.
These Hollywood stars, these singers, they turn into freakzoids. After 20, 25 years of their career, they just go nuts. Look at McDonough.
McDonough? Are you hungry, Chris? And what the hell have singers got to do with anything, or songs?
Do you even recognize that creature anymore? I don't. That wasn't the Madonna I grew up with. All right, the Madonna I grew up with had blonde hair and she was cute. Now, I don't know what the that is.
Well, that, as you so kindly put it, is a 65-year-old woman with more money than sense who's gone berserk in a plastic surgery hospital. Why are you even talking about Madonna? What the hell does any of this have to do with the final experiment? Now, I usually enjoy it when you go off on a tangent, but these final experiment videos are doing really well, and I don't want you spoiling it for me.
Okay? And if we lived on a real little spinning ball here that everybody says we do, and everything's perfect and we live in a perfect community, these things wouldn't happen to these Hollywood actors.
Did you just say that I know you didn't say it directly, but you seem to be implying that the reason Madonna looks like she does at 65 is because everybody is pretending that we live on a globe Earth?
People, okay, are so easy to maneuver around and give ideas to and have them run with it and talk about it.
Well, duh, we know that's true, because if it wasn't, then flat earthers wouldn't exist at all.
So the circle, okay, the creator created that for you to understand that he or she, or whoever it may be, exists. That there is an intelligence out there.
And that's probably just as well, Chris, because there's certainly no intelligence in any of your content. But with that being said, you wouldn't be the most intelligent man in the room if you got locked in a phone box.
The dome. We haven't been able to prove it.
Maybe because it doesn't exist?
But we're definitely contained with something. I don't know what it looks like, if it's like that, if it's straight. Who knows? We can't get up there. It doesn't matter.
But lots of people know, even I know, that we are contained by Earth's atmosphere, which is held in place by gravity.
And we'll never be able to get up there. We're not allowed up there.
Okay, so how did James May get this footage then from when he was taken up to the edge of space by a fighter pilot? And I may have oversimplified that, but it's amazing. You can literally see the Earth curving through the window of the plane. Don't tell me. Fake.
That's probably what the lights are up in the sky. When you put the, night vision goggles on. Did you try that yet, guys? I bet you haven't. I bet you trolls haven't done one thing.
Have you? Because all you do in your videos, Chris, is say, that's not real or that's fake, but you never provide any evidence for an alternative. And to answer your question, no, I've never stared up at the night sky through night vision goggles. I mean, why would I? In fact, why would anybody? What exactly would we gain by viewing stars through night vision goggles?
Nothing except chatter. Chatter about bullshit. Nonsense.
Yeah, but the final experiment isn't just chatter or nonsense, is it? It's an actual experiment that Will Duffy was kind enough to invite flat earthers to participate in. What exactly have flat earthers done which could be considered to be similar to the final experiment? I mean, apart from Bob Nodell proving that the earth rotates and Jaron proving that the earth curves, I can't think of any other experiment flat earthers have done. Oh, sorry, I'm lying. I can remember the Mark Sargent thing where they were all at a lake and a boat went off to the horizon with the stripes on the flag. But all those experiments did was prove what we already know, that the Earth is a globe.
We've been infiltrated by all sides, this community, us, flat earthers, okay? There's some of us that are amongst us that pretend they are flat earthers.
Now we get into it. So are you, like lots of other flat earthers, now gonna claim that Jaron and Austin Whitsitt aren't very good flat earthers because they've agreed to go on the final experiment? Well, Jaron has agreed and it's still being worked out with Austin, but you've got to give props to them. They're both risking a lot just by attending this experiment because they know what the results are going to show them and they know what that's going to do to their credibility as flat earthers. Credibility. Sorry, I did try and keep a straight face.
None of it exists. Space doesn't exist. We have no picture of Earth at all whatsoever. Zero. Goose egg. Nothing. Nothing at all do they have. Not a shred of evidence of this mysterious, ridiculous Walt Disney World of a planet they think they live on in the solar system.
Yeah, well, maybe if NASA wasn't wasting millions of dollars every year on Photoshop subscriptions, they'd be able to afford to send somebody up specially for you just to take a photo of Earth to satisfy your curiosity. I mean, it's not as if we've already got tens of thousands of photographs of Earth, is it?
That black dot, or whatever's projecting the sun, apparently is 3 sun sizes away.
You know why I don't tell lies in my video? Because I have got a terrible memory and I would catch myself out in a lie, so the easiest option is just to always be honest. It's a shame you don't work the same way, CC, because in just this one video, there's been the sun, singular, there's been a personal sun for every person on Earth, so 8 billion, and now you're saying that the sun is a projection from some mysterious black dot in the sky?
So you get the sun here, 1, 2, 3, that's where the black dot is right there. You can't see it because the sun is so bright, it washes it out.
So how do you know it's there then? If we can't see it, that would mean that you can't either.
But with the right equipment, which I looked up, it's about $1,500, $22,000 or something like that. I'm not sure. I think it's a totally separate telescope or something. It's not something that hooks up to the camera. Maybe it does. I don't know. But it's at this point, I can't fool around with something like that right now. I'm going to see if somebody comes out with it. If not, then I'll have to do it for myself. You know, because I'm dying to see that. That puts an end to everything.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to spend $1,500, $22,000 on a telescope myself, so I feel your pain, Chris. What the hell are you talking about?
And all they say, oh yeah, it's Nibiru. Oh yeah, that's the made-up bullshit planet. Supposedly that's too dark to see and it's floating around.
Well, it's Nibiru, and Chris, don't go down that rabbit hole, please.
Do you realize if there was really something like that and we really were in a solar system and you had an outside planet just... Do you know how much that would f*** up the gravitational pull of all the other planets?
Gravitational pull, Christopher? What gravitational pull could you possibly be talking about? I mean, you think that space is fake and that none of the planets exist, and that the stars we can see in the night sky are just bright light, so what gravitational pull are you talking about?
What happens when two planets with a gravitational pull are put together? Are they attracted to each other, or do they bounce away from each other like two magnets? I don't know, because none of it exists. It's all bullshit. You can't prove it. You can't even prove gravity. The most thing is simple as thing they can't prove. They don't even know what the it is. And you think we live on a spinning wet ball. Well, I got news for you. That's bullshit too.
Oh dear, it seems like somebody's upset, CC.
And I see that people have been f***ing around once again at the expense of me.
Wonder who he's talking about. It couldn't possibly be me.
I don't think so.
What? You were the ones that keep watching them and sending them to me? Please subscribe.
Uploading my videos, turning my words into...
Things you didn't mean? Well, I wouldn't dream of doing something so childish.
I was in the car, standing still in a parking lot, and I felt dick.
Yeah, we've got parking lots like that in the UK as well. Okay, well, I wouldn't dream of doing something so childish too frequently.
But the truth is that we are stationary.
Then I will say to you the same thing I say to every other flat earther. Prove it then.
We're flat, we're covered with a dome, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And we didn't make this, God did.
Ooh, that's a bit low, Chris, isn't it? Blaming the big G for your own shortcomings. It's nobody's fault you're a flat earther apart from your own.
That's right.
I know, that's why I said it.
God loves you.
Sounds a bit stalkerish to me, and I'd rather have a God who respects my lack of belief than one who demands it, and then makes threats if you don't believe in him.
He has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you.
You have potential.
Chris, I'm touched. Nobody's ever said that to me before. Do you really think so?
You want a final experiment? Here, I'll give you a final experiment, okay?
Yeah, go for it, CC. You give us a final experiment. But first of all, could you explain to us what's wrong with the one we already have? It leaves this week. Or was it next week? It leaves soon. No, they'll be there very soon.
You take 2 boats around Antarctica, all right? 2. The supposed island on the bottom of Earth.
Bottom.
Okay. You take 2 boats, you have them go around the island and meet at the other side.
You mean like the Oyster 72 Catharsis 2, which became the first yacht to sail around Antarctica below 62 degrees south, which was a significant achievement as it meant they sailed in the Southern Ocean, closer to the continent, and faced harsher conditions than anyone before them.
That's the final experiment.
In that case, I will send Will Duffy a WhatsApp message immediately, because if it's already been done, then it's all just a big waste of time and money, isn't it? You did know it had already been done, Chris, didn't you?
But the Navy won't do it.
Yeah, well, the Navy's probably really busy doing naval stuff. But those people I just mentioned did exactly what you just suggested.
Because they know what the results will be.
Ah, you mean just like we all know what the results of the final experiment down in Antarctica are going to be, because they are the same results every year.
Okay, because apparently this island's only, 13,000 miles in width?
Well, it depends on what we're measuring. Now, at its widest point, Antarctica is roughly 3,450 miles. I have no idea where you get 13,000 miles from, but it's probably the same place you get your information about the shape of the Earth.
So that's fine. Should only take them a day, not even, and they could meet on the other side of the island, and there you go.
Yeah, I don't think that's right either, CC. Now, they started in Cape Town, the Republic of South Africa, and they planned to finish in Hobart, Australia, which gave them an expected distance of 17,000 nautical miles, roughly 31,500 kilometers. They expected it to take 100 days in total, and 80 of those days were spent circumnavigating Antarctica. So you may want to fact check yourself on that one, pal. And while you're at it, you might as well do the same thing for everything else you say, because it's all wrong.
They won't, because we are covered with an ice wall. We are surrounded in an ice wall like a pond.
We're all so glad you corrected yourself there, Chris, because being surrounded by an ice wall is a hell of a lot less stupid than being covered by one. Or is it?
These continents that are around are like islands. It's as simple as that.
Now then, it's pretty obvious to me that Chris knows I make videos about him and he's seen them, hence his little speech at the beginning of this video, even though he's definitely not talking about me directly. But just in case he was mentioning me and he's gonna get to see this video, hi Chris, thanks for all your help with the channel. And also, I've asked so many flat earthers this question in videos and none of them ever answer. Why do you say that there's an ice wall surrounding the... Well, not why, we all know why, but have none of you ever thought of the fact that ice floats in water? So it wouldn't even be useful for holding in the world's oceans if it ever turned out by some bizarre twist of... If it ever turned out the Earth was flat, it's not going to help you, is it? So let me know in the comments below, Chris. I'm waiting with bated breath.
It's simple. Simple to understand. There is no space. NASA has been bullshitting your taxpayers' money.
Now, this is definitely rhetorical. What sort of moron thinks that space doesn't exist? I've said this so many times. If by some miracle it turned out that the Earth was flat, even a flat Earth would still need space, because without space, there wouldn't be anywhere for even a flat Earth to be. Not to mention the number of people who are actually in space working right now, but I suppose they're all just liars.
From the beginning. From 1958, they've been freaking taking all your money, $90 million a day, for nothing.
Ah, yes, but you must mean apart from... Wireless headsets, memory foam, infrared ear thermometers, water filters, cordless vacuum cleaners, freeze-dried food, improved baby formula, camera phones, you know, like the one you're using now, and CAT scans, which you so clearly need. And it's also worth pointing out that NASA's budget for 2024 is $24.9 billion, or 0.36% of the total US budget for this year. That didn't come across as sarcastic at all, did it? I can't tell anymore.
You're never going to the moon. You're never going back. Every time they say they're going, a problem always happens. Think about that.
People do think about it. All the time. Chris, you do understand that going to the moon isn't the same as jumping in your car, filling up with petrol in Wawa, and then driving along to the turnpike. It's a little bit more tricky to get to the moon.
Think!
Ooh, don't you just love angry CC?
How can people still believe that we live on this ridiculous Walt Disney World spinning wet ball?
Maybe it's the thousands of years of evidence and the predictions we're able to make based on what we know about the shape of the planet we live on.
I don't understand it. I just don't understand.
Yeah, well, thanks for bringing us up to speed, Captain Obvious. Yeah, we can see you don't understand.
This is like, these people are NPCs as far as I'm concerned.
Really? So you think Free Guy is a documentary then?
There's no easy way to say this. This world, it's a video game. You're not real.
If they can't see what's in their face and they're fighting against you, trying to hold on to something that they don't even understand.
Now, you know when you say that, Chris, that people like me just don't understand anything about the world they live in, you do realise that that wasn't your inner monologue, don't you? You actually said that out loud and it's in your video.
Ask them questions. Ask them the radius of Earth. Ask them how far away the closest star is. Ask them how big the universe is. How fast it's expanding. They can't give you dick.
Don't worry, I'm not going to do the same joke again.
But yet they're fighting against something they don't understand.
Well, Earth's radius is 3,963 miles. Our closest star is, of course, our Sun at 93 million miles. And the observable universe is estimated to be around 93 billion light years in diameter. And most current measurements put the Hubble constant at around 73 kilometers per second per megaparsec. Anything else I can help you with?
I mean, that's like fighting against, it's like fighting against a car dealer, not understanding the mechanics of the vehicle, and you're fighting against it.
But it's not though, is it? Because to be a vehicle mechanic takes years of training and experience to make you a really good mechanic. But as far as information about the universe, Earth, stars, the sun, whatever you want to choose, we can read about it right now. So if it takes me 10 minutes to read an article explaining why the sun is what it is, then it's taken me 10 minutes to learn that new piece of information. You should try it, Chris. It's awesome.
It doesn't make any sense at all to me. Why they just don't stop and ask critical questions.
Because the questions most flat earthers put to us, which they seem to think are critical, have usually been answered thousands of years ago. And the big one there would be the shape of the Earth. We've known for thousands and thousands of years that it's a globe. Get over it, flat earthers, and grow up.
Asking questions like, why I feel no movement.
Well, round of applause to CC for proving to us once and for all that the old saying, you know, the one about there's no such thing as a stupid question, well, that's a load of old crap, isn't it? Clearly. Because they are the only questions flat earthers ask.
How could a star's light travel trillions of miles away and we can still see it?
You underestimate light's commitment, Chris. These photons are determined little buggers. They've been travelling for millennia just to reach our eyeballs here on Earth.
When meanwhile you can take a flashlight and go down 4 blocks and it disappears and you can't see it anymore.
Moving on.
How are these stars possible?
I'm not convinced that needed 4 hows, Chris. But are you actually asking how stars are possible? I suppose that's a little bit of progress coming from you.
The sun and the moon eclipse each other. That's right. And Earth eclipse. Yeah, and people don't understand that the sun and the moon are self-projecting lights.
Are you suggesting that the sun and the moon are some kind of giant celestial light bulbs?
Where is the moon all of a sudden? It goes in front of the sun, okay?
Right then, CC, let's see if this helps you at all. This is a poker chip. It's about poker chip size. And that over there is my son and editor, Callum, who's got a head on top of his shoulders, which we're going to use to represent the globe. So, see this poker chip that obscured his head completely? Or at least it would if I could line it back up. It's nowhere near as big as his head!
And that's a solar eclipse.
Well, no, it was just me holding this poker chip in front of my son's head to show you that even though the moon is a hell of a lot smaller than the sun, it can obscure it because of the distance between the two.
The sun eclipses itself. All of a sudden the moon just disappears too after the eclipse is done. Where is the moon gone? The moon does whatever the it wants to do.
I know, the moon be crazy.
At this point, comes up for 14 hours a day sometimes, and then just disappears, comes up over there the next day, comes up anywhere it wants.
No, it doesn't. The moon does what we are able to predict it does, because we know so much about it. Now, it may seem random to flat earthers, but tough, it isn't. The moon has a very predictable orbit.
These are self-projecting objects up there. You can't land on them.
I hope we're still talking about the moon, Chris, because if we're not, as much as it would stick in my throat, I would have to agree with you. Yeah, we can't land on the sun.
What happens if they went in winter when the sun is cold?
You could one day be an astronaut and you'll be able to walk on the sky.
Yeah, that famous astronaut activity, walking on the skies. Chris, I think you may need to go and have a lay down, pal. I'll take it from you. You want to hear something completely insane?
We have pictures of Jupiter, of their South Pole, and all the other fake planets out there, but yet we don't have a picture of our South Pole. You can research that. A couple things I want to cover today. Today's a Think About It Friday, but I want to ask you, the viewer, are you happy?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. My life goal of explaining the shape of Earth to people who think the planet is a cosmic frisbee really keeps me going.
I want to ask you, the viewer, are you happy with the world that you live on? Are you happy with the pictures that you're given?
Well, I want to say yes, CC, but this is starting to feel like some sort of trap. It's not a trap, is it? Let's find out. Please subscribe. Alright, just a quick heads up, and if you're not interested, it's fine. Still, I've started uploading my content to Patreon, with this video being the first one I've uploaded to Patreon. So if you want to see all my videos completely ad-free with no sponsorship segments, head over there. It's linked below and in the card up. It's somewhere up there. Let's get back to CC, shall we?
Are you happy with not being able to go places to go research?
What places? I knew this was a trap. He's going to start talking about Antarctica, isn't he? He obviously isn't aware of the final experiment.
An area that apparently, when you see pictures, is 12,000, miles in diameter.
3,400 miles at its widest part. Where the hell did you get 12,000 from? Now, the term diameter can be used for shapes that are not circles or spheres, and for any shape, the diameter is defined as the greatest distance between 2 points on its boundary. And Antarctica is not 12,000 miles in diameter by any stretch of the imagination. And we all know the flat earthers can stretch their imagination pretty far. That's why they're flat earthers. So maybe that explains what CC just said.
Right. When in reality, Antarctica is probably 60,000, or if not more.
Chris, didn't you even bother looking this up? 12,000 is a gross exaggeration. So why say 60,000 now? Were you afraid that you weren't wrong enough the first time you picked a number out of thin air?
Because nobody's been able to navigate around it at all.
Ah, I think what you meant to say, Chris, was the circumference of Antarctica then, not the diameter. But carry on. Now, navigating the entire Antarctic coastline would be an incredibly challenging feat due to the extreme conditions and ice coverage. But some expeditions have come close to achieving it. In 1989 through 90, the International Trans-Antarctica Expedition, led by Will Steger and Jean-Louis Etienne, made a notable attempt by traversing the continent. And while they crossed a significant portion of Antarctica, their route did not follow the entire coastline. And I know flat earthers will say, oh, they couldn't make the trip because of the penguin guards, you're not allowed to go there. But the fact still remains it's been done. Almost. Is almost good enough for you flat earthers?
Are you happy with the fact that you can't go down there unless if you're chaperoned and you've got $25,000? Because all they'll do is they'll take you to a peninsula.
Yeah, he hasn't got a Scooby-Doo, has he? The final experiment is happening, Christopher. Anyway, 25k is a little on the low side. Try upwards of $30,000. And the final experiment, who's taking flat earthers and globe earthers, and one of each is being paid for, is going to Union Glacier, which is inland and not a peninsula at all.
Let's record this because this idiot behind me is 4 inches off my bumper. He's scaring me. He's frightening me.
Good. Now you know how we feel. Maybe he's making a YouTube video as well. You know, instead of actually concentrating on the task in hand, which is driving safely.
And he's an idiot.
Well, what are the odds of that? You being followed by another flat earther making a YouTube video. You did just say he was also an idiot, didn't you?
And once again, Mr. Genius, he doesn't even have tags on his car. That's great. Driving like a maniac. All his windows are completely tinted and blacked out. He's got a paper plate on his car. Well, at least he went that far. He decided to at least print out a Jersey paper plate that's just flapping in the wind.
I have no idea what any of this has got to do with the shape of the earth, Chris, but I'll bite. Now, when I was in America driving on your highways, I would have far preferred to come across another vehicle with a temporary tag on it than somebody recording a YouTube video while they're meant to be concentrating on the road. You've got a bloody cheek, haven't you? What you were doing is 10 times worse than him riding your ass. Unless you like that sort of thing, of course. I mean, you did say you got some dick in one of your other YouTube videos. I'm only, you know.
So when he goes through a toll booth, because everything's automated here now in New York, he doesn't have to pay. That's great. We have to pay for it.
Hang on a second. Now, I know people don't like it when I go off topic, and if I learned anything from last Friday and the Fridays before video, it was that. But do you mean to tell me that when I was in America, paying tolls everywhere I had to bloody go, I could have had it for free, and you would have had to have paid for me, Chris? Well, bloody hell.
All right, come on. All right, you see, this is what happens when I'm driving now, because it really has become so aggressive with these idiots out there that they're in unmarked cars. The cops are not pulling these people over. They're driving up and down. You realize back in the 80s, if you had a broken tail light, bam, you wouldn't even make it for more than 2 miles. All right? Now it's free. Roads are free. Come on down.
Now, I know that Chris isn't nominated to receive the Nobel Prize in Physics or in anything for that matter, but surely, Chris, even you should be able to see the irony in what you're saying. You are literally recording a YouTube video while you're driving on the highway and you're complaining about the way other people drive.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Why not worried?
Are you happy? Are you happy not knowing what you live on?
Right, yeah, of course. I'd forgotten the whole point of your video. Are we happy? And you've now expanded on that by asking, are we happy not knowing what we live on? Well, that's a bit of a moot question because we do know what we live on. It's an oblate spheroid, and I can only speak for myself, but I'm very happy living on an oblate spheroid.
Not knowing with the lies of spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, which is not true because we're standing still, but I'm just talking about the globe earthers. We're thinking about this. Are you happy with not knowing what you're living on, having fake CGI pictures, having nothing but nonsense given to you? You can't research anything. You can't go up in space. You can't do anything. Oh, sure, you can become a physicist, but then you'll become even more indoctrinated, and then you're done.
Then you're done. What the hell does that even mean? Done with what?
You wouldn't even make a video about us anyway if you were a physicist, because you wouldn't even bother looking into it.
Light the beacons!
Did that Family Guy style cutaway adequately illustrate my surprise that CC was right about something? Yeah, no physicist is ever going to make a video about flat earthers because they've got much more important things to concentrate on. You're just not that important.
Okay. At least our trolls are actually looking into it.
Hey, I don't appreciate being referred to as a troll, and I haven't looked into anything, Chris, because I don't need to, because we have known for thousands of years that the Earth is a globe.
And I know they're getting question marks. I know they're asking themselves.
No, we're not. Well, that's not strictly true. I do have some... Well, really, I've only got one question. When did you get dropped on your head, Chris? Was it while you were a child or did it happen later in life? Because I cannot think of anything else that would justify some of the stupid things you say. So if that qualifies as a question, then yeah, I've got a question.
But I know I know. Or they're just complete trolls and paid. They already know the Earth is flat. It's one or the other. And frankly, I could care less. It doesn't matter.
I mention it then. And please, Chris. Please. Please, please, please. Stop saying you could care less. It's couldn't care less, you moron. Because everybody could care less, couldn't they? Here we are. I feel much better now. How about you?
Okay. But once again, you're fed pictures of fake stars. You're fed pictures of black holes, which I never understood black holes, even when I was a kid.
And there's nothing wrong with that, Chris. A lot of people don't understand black holes. We only know a very small amount about them. I can't see your issue with that.
How could there be some kind of void in space that sucks light in and light can't escape, but yet you can see it? Oh, because the light's whirling around it at such a fast speed, and it's going into this black hole. And then on the other side, there's a white hole, but where does it go on the other side? Is it a different dimension? It just makes no sense.
Well, no, not when you explain it like that. I'm sure it wouldn't make any sense. Now, a black hole is a spot in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape it. And this happens because a lot of mass, or stuff, to put it into language flat earthers will understand, gets squashed down into a very small space. Think of it like squashing the mass of a star into a space smaller than a city. And this creates an extremely strong gravitational pull. Imagine if you tried to throw a ball into the sky, but the gravity was so strong that the ball just couldn't escape and immediately fell back down to Earth. A black hole's gravity is so intense that once anything, even light, gets too close to it, it just gets sucked in and can't get out. Now, the edge of a black hole where all this happens is called the event horizon. If you cross it, you're not coming back. Actually, that's just given me a brilliant idea for how we can further improve the final experiment. Only buy the flat earther a one-way ticket. Brilliant. I'm going to have to email Will.
The closest star takes 25,000 years to get to.
There you go again, just making stuff up. The closest star to Earth is the Sun. But if you're asking about the closest star that isn't our Sun, that would be Proxima Centauri. And Proxima Centauri is part of the Alpha Centauri star system and is located about 4.24 light years away from us. Now, in space terms, that's pretty close. Now, if you could travel at the speed of light, it would take you about 4.25 years to reach Proxima Centauri, since it's 4.24 light years away from Earth. So that means if you set off your journey today, traveled at the speed of light, you'd get there in 2028, Chris.
I mean, it makes no sense. We have pictures of Jupiter, of their South Pole and their North Pole, and all the other fake planets out there. We've got pictures of their South Pole and their North Pole, but yet we don't have a picture of our South Pole.
Then what are these?
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. They were taken from a satellite orbiting the Earth.
You can research that.
I didn't have to. All I had to do was type into Google satellite images of the South Pole or Antarctica.
The gravity of all of these fake planets that are out there, and we're sending everything out there.
Oh, we're sending everything out there, are we, Christopher? Well, where exactly is there located, seeing as you don't believe space even exists?
We're sending probes and all sorts of shit, and are they taking in effect the gravity that's pulling them and altering their trajectory at all?
Now, I just looked up the answer to that, and it could be a whole video by itself, and at this stage I can't be bothered, so maybe I'll do it one day. But to simplify it, Chris, yes. Or did you think they just wing it when they send a multi-billion-dollar spacecraft into the place that you believe is fake?
Are they taking an effect that we're traveling at like 666,000 miles per hour?
Yes.
Through space? And once you come off of Earth, you're an object away from Earth that should just stop. It's like getting out of a car going 66 miles per hour. Boom! There you go. The car takes off.
No, that's not how this works at all, Chris.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. There's more land out there. There's documented proof that there's more land beyond Antarctica.
And your proof of that is?
I'm not going to do your homework for you.
Spiteful.
How is it that the buildings that we're building right now are shit? They're made with fucking wood and a little cement.
Because you live in America?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
Now, for the last 2 weeks, I may have been in New York and New Jersey. No, there was no maybe, I was definitely there. And one of you lovely lot knows I was there because you came and said hello to me in Taco Bell on Times Square, where I sneaked in for a pee without actually buying anything.
You're a criminal.
And if that was you, make yourself known to me in the comments section because I forgot to ask your username. Oh, actually, it's 2 people know I was there because I stayed with one of you. But anyway, right now, I be in Swansea. Why am I finding words so difficult today? I feel like Austin Powers.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
But I'm not going to bang on about it because CC clearly finds reality or understanding reality tricky. So, yeah. Let's find out why so many of you sent me this video, shall we? Please subscribe.
It's 3-3. No, 4-3. 23. Lots of threes.
Fine, I'll ask because I know some of you are going to in the comment section. Either this is a very old CC video which he has re-uploaded, which I don't think is the case, or he deliberately said 3-3-23 so that he could say there were lots of threes when in reality it was published on 4-3-24, or as we say in the UK, 3-4-24, because we say it the right way round.
I always tell you these people are paid. Okay. The people that are paid are the instigators. Okay. I'm kind of an instigator. I don't get paid for it, but I instigate people. People call me annoying.
People call you a lot worse things than annoying, Chris. Trust me. But I get where you're coming from, because believe it or not, some people find me annoying, especially when I do things like this.
You know,
Because I'm telling the truth.
Telling the truth? Chris, when you say you're telling the truth, even your imaginary friend raises an eyebrow.
The instigators get the people that are just mindless in these Ivy League colleges, and they don't know really where they're going in life. You know, their parents stuck them in there, pulled some strings, pay their $95,000 semester tuition, which is just absolutely outrageous. And they just kind of fumble around, you know, get their degree eventually, and there you go. Indoctrinated for life.
Educated, Chris. Educated for life. Not indoctrinated. Educated. You should try it.
I want you to think about a planet.
Okay, I will do. Now, do I need to tell you what planet I'm thinking about, or does that come later in the trick? This is a trick, right?
I want you to think of how a planet is formed.
I'll explain it instead, because me thinking about stuff doesn't really make for interesting viewing. Planets begin as a vast cloud of gas and dust that collapses under its own gravity, forming a spinning protoplanetary disk around a new star. Dust particles within the cooler parts of the disk clump together to create planetesimals, which collide and merge into larger bodies called protoplanets. Now, these protoplanets grow by accretion, drawing in more material and clearing their clearing their orbits of debris, helped by the solar wind from the star. And over millions of years, and there was a clue there, CC, these processes result in the formation of planets in stable orbits.
Which nobody's ever seen how it's formed.
So you know when I just referenced millions of years and said there was a clue there? Well, that's why, CC. It takes millions of years to happen.
Out of all of the stars that are up there, we can't seem to manage to get a picture of an actual formation of a planet. We'll get drawings.
How many times have I got to say it? Millions of years, Chris. But this image, which was captured by the James Webb Space Telescope, shows us the final stages of a planet forming. But I suppose that doesn't count.
We'll get artists that think this is what it should look like, but we don't actually get anything that's real.
Well, we do, and I just showed it to you, but the artists that create the renderings don't just guess, they use scientific data to compose those images. I don't see what the problem is, unless you're a flat earther, of course, and it's a pretty big problem.
So when you're learning in school how a planet is formed and how gravity is formed and how it's this just crazy dust that collects and then gravity mysteriously appears and it revolves around and does all this shit, and then all of a sudden you get this rocky planet in the middle of nowhere because of all the dust that it's surrounding, because of the explosion of something in the middle that's now a sun. All of it's bullshit.
Now, what you just explained there, CC, is very telling, because it shows us that you know how planets are formed and you just choose to say that it's fake, which again is pretty standard for any flat earther.
There's no evidence, there's no proof, there's nothing. There's just speculation.
Well, I mean, if you're a flat earther, then yeah, I completely agree with you. But have you never looked up at night?
Okay. Well, I think they do have the math for it. But is there a math that actually can create a planet? I'd like to see that.
Is there a math? Well, probably.
I would like to see the mathematical computations of how they managed to create a planet.
Well, the formation of a planet is a complex process that involves physics, chemistry, and celestial mechanics rather than straightforward mathematical computation. I mean, I can break down the key stages and the basic principles that guide the process if you'd like me to, Chris.
You're all an accident. You all came from monkeys. That's right. That's right. The solar system was a little dust cloud.
You know, I don't think I've ever come across anyone as confident in their wrongness as CC is. I mean, Level Earth Observer would be a close second, but at least we haven't got to look at his face while he's saying it. So does this mean you're also a young Earth creationist, CC, who doesn't believe that we evolved into what we are today?
Children believe this. It's a fairy tale. Fairy tales for children. And children come in all ages. I was a child once. I was a child all the way up until my late 30s.
Don't worry about it, Chris. I'm still a child and I'm 51.
until I figured out that the Earth is flat.
Yeah, believing that the Earth is flat isn't exactly doing much for your credibility as an adult, Chris. If anything, it further illustrates the point you just made about you still being a child. Or something. Whatever. What? What did you say? Leave me alone, I'm tired.
I mean, this holds true with everything. Everything that we've learned. We only dug down 8 miles. 8 miles. This is an open and book.
Oh yeah, that very well-known saying, open and book. Must be an American thing that I didn't hear while I was over there.
This is like close. Just the mere fact that we have this should wake people up.
Now, I don't know how you were managing, and I will admit that I am a little bit jet-lagged and very, very tired, but I have absolutely no clue what he's talking about now. I've completely lost my plot. Lost my plot? I couldn't lose anyone else's plot, could I? So it would seem I also lack the ability to... So it would seem I've also lost the ability to form coherent sentences. Or sentences in general. Oh shit, I'm sitting down. Damn.
And say, wait a minute, what are all those diagrams of Earth? What do they think they have a seismogram that goes down 14,000 miles? And we have one on Mars too? Sure, we do. I think we also have one on Uranus.
I don't think anyone's got a diagram of my anus. At least I hope they haven't.
And there's nothing. You're given pictures. You're given a diagram. You're giving layers and layers. You know, when they dug down 8.5 miles, they were wrong every single time.
I suppose it would be too much to ask that you explain what you mean by they got it wrong every single time.
Okay, well, I think we're going to hit granite right now. Wrong. I think we were going to hit some hard rocky substance. Wrong. And then finally, it hit a barrier where nothing could go past it.
Indeed. Maybe I should have left it a day before coming back to work and trying to record a video.
I thought the molten lava that they say our core of the Earth is located, I don't know, many thousands of miles down.
Yeah, but you also think that the Earth is flat, covered in a dome, and that space is fake, so...
So, if there's molten lava 8.5 miles down, then where... So, it's just, you go 8.5 miles and it's all lava? No, it doesn't make any sense because it's not true.
That's my favourite thing that CC does, and I can't help but think that he'd make an awesome mob boss. You know, where he's all jolly and happy, and then he changes to his really serious face to illustrate his point.
It's not true at all. It's all bullshit.
Why do you think people guess these things, CC? We know because we know. Because of things like seismic waves, Earth's magnetic field, density and gravity measurement, heat flow. And collectively, they scientifically explain, quite comprehensively, the internal structure of Earth.
The TV is bullshit. The movies are bullshit. Every single movie has a globe in it somewhere. Somewhere there's a globe.
I know. And you know why? Because we live on one, you div.
And everything. I mean, just look at the movies now. Look at Hollywood now. Hollywood has nowhere to go. They don't know what to do anymore. They're coming out with sequels after sequels after sequels, and nothing at all is new. It's all bullshit.
Or, and stick with me here, Chris, it's entertainment, and people like being entertained, which is probably why videos about you always do so well.
T3, I didn't see it. I was going to go see it. I still haven't seen it. I've been busy.
What, since 2003?
They can't come up with a fake UFO invasion. They can't come up with another moon landing or a Mars landing or anything like that. It just keeps getting kicked down the road.
Yeah, you're not exactly Mr. Current Affairs, are you, Chris? We've done all those things.
For so many decades now. So many decades. It's been kicked down the road. That doesn't wake anybody up at all. I guess it doesn't. You know, they'll just come at us with stupid computations.
There's that word again, computations. Did you learn that this week or something, Chris, and you're practicing using it?
Of how there is a curvature and how you can see shadows and all this other nonsense, and how the constellations aren't the same here when they're not the same over there, and that's simple to debunk. Just go into a fucking room, put a goddamn stars up in the fucking sky, and you're gonna see in one area it looks a little different, and in that area you're seeing the reverse. Wow, there you go.
Well, I was gonna say, go on then, debunk it, Chris, but after that little tirade, I don't think I'll bother.
Well, that's the sky for you. That's the fake stars up there for you. I mean, everything we've debunked. Everything.
It just wasn't happening for me, dog. I mean, no, dog, I was not. It was the finger symbols need work.
Yes or no, Frank?
It's gotta be no, dog.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Well, I may be in America, but definitely not Westchester County. Oh, no.
Let's just do a recap on the week. Another disappointing week, I have to say, for objects in the sky and beneath us.
Okay, well, I'm not sure why it was a disappointing week, but my best guess would be that a full solar eclipse completely destroys everything you believe in.
Well, it's not an object. It was an earthquake that New York had that I didn't even know happened.
Nice to see you've got your finger on the pulse there, CC. It was only a 4.8 magnitude, so light to moderate. I'm sure lots of people didn't feel it. Where are you going with this?
I was in the car, standing still in a parking lot, and I felt dick.
Yeah, we've got parking lots like that in the UK as well.
I did hear a strange noise, but I just thought it was one of those ridiculous trucks.
Oh, so he was a big guy then.
So, bust on that one.
All right, CC, that's too much information. Can we get back to the eclipse or the earthquake or just good old flat Earth? I'm not sure we're uncomfortable where this conversation's going.
And bust on the eclipse. Shit, you know, that sucks.
Now he's just doing it on purpose, or maybe it's just me.
That really sucks. I didn't even get to see that because I didn't have glasses and I was working. It's the middle of the afternoon. What the f***? You know, people have jobs.
Oh, look, don't worry. The next time there's a total solar eclipse, I'll speak to my handlers at NASA and see if they can schedule it at a more convenient time for you, Chris. Please subscribe.
I want to talk about this spectacular moment that I did catch one time. I videotaped it. The 2017 event.
Videotaped? He sounds like my mother.
I have to give a shout out. I'm going to put her channel in the description. She caught, and apparently you can only get this when it's a full 100% eclipse. You can't get it if it's a 91% or 95%. It's got to be total eclipse.
Totally off topic, but Bonnie Tyler's from Swansea. She lives about 5 miles away from me, and I nearly ran her over once in my car when I was much younger. And, well, I didn't know women could swear like that.
That's the only way you can get this. All right, and that's the shadows that are being projected on the ground.
They are caused by the refraction by Earth's atmospheric turbulence of the solar crescent as it thins to a narrow slit, which increasingly collimates the light reaching Earth in the minutes just before and after totality. Now, I'm not sure how you'll explain it, Chris, but I'm sure it'll be way more entertaining than my explanation.
While all the idiots were looking up at the solar eclipse, I gotta tell you about what's happening here in New York. It's idiots.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you, Chris. Anybody who looked up at the solar eclipse without the appropriate eyewear is an idiot because it can cause solar retinopathy.
So everybody's looking up at the sky at the total eclipse. The disc that goes in front, you know, somehow or another blocks. Hold on.
Disc? I think you mean sphere. There's a sphere that passes in front of another sphere, and the first sphere blocks out the light from the second sphere.
I'm looking down for the shadows. That's where I was looking.
Well, that explains why you missed it then, Chris. You meant to look at the sky, not the ground.
All right. I videotaped some, but I was like, you know what, there's no reason to even post it. I didn't get anything. I got dick.
Yeah, we know. You told us earlier you got dick. Congratulations. But I'm more interested in your footage of the solar eclipse and, more importantly, why you decided not to share it. Is it because when you watched it back you had no other choice than to admit to yourself that the only way this is possible is if the Earth is a sphere?
It's a weird feeling, I have to tell you. I mean, to be out there in the middle of the day and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like 65, I think it was that day. It was a beautiful day. And then it drops down. I did feel the cold, like I did in 2017. but I didn't get the darkness.
Yeah, and that's completely normal, Chris, because unless you're directly in the path of totality, then you won't always see the darkness. And a quick Google search just told me that the New York State area had a 90% eclipse, not a total solar eclipse, because of your location.
Oh, one thing I did, this was weird. I did see this, though, while I was driving. I was driving while it was actually eclipsing, during the eclipse. But what I did see are shadows from the back of me projected onto the trees. They were, like, bright, and then they went out. It was weird. It's hard to explain.
Well, not really, and as I explained earlier, the shadows happen because the Earth's atmosphere bends the light from the sun when it's almost covered. Unless, of course, you meant that it's hard to explain for someone who thinks the Earth is flat, in which case I completely agree with you. Well, it's not hard for you to explain. It's completely impossible.
I've never seen anything like that before. Maybe it's my eyes playing tricks on me. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? A lot of weird things happen during eclipses, don't they?
Not really, no.
Anyway, two busts. That's it. I didn't see the meteor. That sucks. I didn't see anything. The devil. That would be the devil comet or whatever the f*** it is. You know, I got gypped. I got ripped. I don't even feel any aftershocks after the earthquake. People are saying they're feeling aftershocks. I'm feeling shit.
But you said earlier you didn't even feel the earthquake, so what the hell makes you think you'd feel the aftershocks, which are much weaker and localized anyway?
So we're all right here in New York. Everything's fine.
Well, I'm relieved to hear that, especially as I'm in New York right now. Well, right now I'm in my studio at home, but I'll be in New York when you're watching this video. But nowhere near you, CC. I'll be miles away from you.
The sun is traveling at this enormous speed through the universe.
It is about 514,000 miles per hour. And the sun's movement is part of the galaxy's orbit around the Milky Way, which takes about 230 million years to complete. So, you know, it needs to get a move on. It's quite far.
We're following it. Corkscrewing through the universe. It's amazing. With the moon and the other celestial objects behind us.
Well, that seems a little bit oversimplified, but if you like, yeah, that's kind of what's happening.
That's what we're doing. That's what's happening. We're not in a flat solar system. That's what I was brought up to believe. There was no motion in my school, okay? There was nothing moving around. It was just like a stationary solar system. That's all I remember.
Ah, so you were homeschooled then. Now, in fact, educational curricula often include the fact that the solar system is in motion, and it orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and the entire galaxy is also moving relative to other galaxies in the universe. And the idea of movement and dynamic interactions is a fundamental part of understanding our place in the cosmos. No wonder you think the Earth is flat.
I don't remember anything else. I don't remember them saying we were chasing the sun at this 500 million miles per hour, 500,000 miles per hour, and we're traveling at 66,000 miles per hour. I don't remember hearing any of that.
Maybe try listening then, because I can remember being taught that in school, and I think I'm older than you.
We briefly touched on the solar system, the fake planets, and all the other stuff.
Good old CC. He can't resist throwing the word fake into every single video he makes, can he?
But I want you to think about this. For the people who did actually be able to see the eclipse, and they were chemtrailing us all day. I should have recorded that, but I didn't have my camera with me. Just had my shitty phone, and I'm not going to be able to take really good pictures with a, 10 megapixel camera. They're just chemtrailing us all day. So in the afternoon, you got, spots here and there and stuff like that. But anyway, we get back to what I was saying.
Yeah, if you could, that would be really helpful. Well, it would be helpful for me anyway.
So when the people who have actually seen this eclipse, okay, when you look at this with your safety goggles on, remember, that's important. It looks like there's not an object eclipsing it. It just looks perfect. It looks like a black disc.
Interesting little factoid for you, Chris. What you're seeing as a black disc blocking out the sun is the moon. The moon appears black during a solar eclipse because it does not emit its own light. Now, we can usually see the moon because it reflects sunlight towards Earth, but during a solar eclipse, The side of the moon facing us is not illuminated by the sun because it's in between the sun and the earth. Therefore, the moon blocks the sun's light and casts a shadow, appearing as a dark silhouette or disk against the bright sun.
Just going over it, completely blocking the sun, but it's going so slowly, you know? It's just like somebody has like a card that's in the shape of the sun, you know, and just kind of, or it could be anything. And it's just going right up through the sun, and boop, it's gone. And then you see the cornea and the 3 beads and whatever. Oh, bullshit.
Cornea? It's the sun, it's not an eye. What the hell is it? Oh, you mean the corona?
But the people who were able to see the sun, apparently they didn't wear their glasses, so now they're complaining about temporary loss of. So these are the symptoms, okay? Just in case if you think you ruined your eyes by looking at the sun without safety goggles on. Nausea, headache, dizziness. You know, it sounds like something else to me.
Well, yeah, nausea, dizziness, and headaches are the symptoms for a lot of things, but I think I know what you were gonna claim it is. Oh, my word, this guy could find a conspiracy theory in his packed lunch.
Can they get lawsuits going? Oh, there might be a lawsuit going. Apparently, Amazon sold them shit glasses that really didn't protect your eyes from anything. Good job, Amazon. Gotta love them. Keep getting those packages from Amazon. That's great. Something as delicate as your eyes, you are going to order through Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon are being sued by a couple from South Carolina who've started experiencing eye issues after buying solar glasses from Amazon, but I really don't see how that has got any impact on the shape of the Earth, CC. Are we going off on a tangent again, or?
You idiots! I mean, hey, look, you know, they asked for it. That's all. They asked for it. I can think of many other things people have gotten that they asked for. And that is a shame, isn't it? It really is. So, anyway, I was, oh, and there's a lot of room. Oh, shit. God damn it. I'm going to have to answer this. I got to answer this. Maybe I can put this on pause. Hold on. GPS stands for ground positioning system. Okay, that's what it is.
Perfect. Now it's been 2 weeks since I made a video about CC.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be.
Adam, AD, New York, Albany County.
CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I was feeling left out. Please subscribe.
It's 6666.
Pick up sticks.
No, it's not 2066, or is it?
No, it's not. Now, your video title mentions something about a ground positioning system, and, well, we're curious as to what that is, Chris.
That's 24. We got the double sixes.
Double six would be 12, not 24.
Yeah, there's an 18-wheeler on a parkway. Nice. Making all the traffic because of his stupidity. He didn't put on his GPS, and remember, GPS stands for ground positioning system. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, of course it does, Chris. And I suppose Wi-Fi stands for Wizardry and Fairy Dust Interface.
You know, I'm a big believer in time travel.
Well, I've got to be honest, that doesn't actually surprise me at all. But it does explain why you're a flat earther, possibly. You're from the past. You know, way back in the past, before people even knew that the Earth wasn't flat.
You know, I really am. I wish it was possible, but unfortunately, I think it would take all the power of this flat land that we live on in order to create a wormhole or a interdimensional portal.
Chris, now you're a lot of things. You're a flat earther for one. You're a gigantic conspiracy theorist who doesn't trust anything anyone says. But I didn't think that you would build up my hopes get me excited and then just throw me to the side like a discarded tissue. I actually thought you did believe in time travel. That's why I picked this video. What the hell am I gonna do now?
And since we're talking about time travel, what exactly what would happen?
Well, it's kind of implied in the name, Chris. You would travel through time. And may I suggest that you watch the Back to the Future trilogy, but please bear in mind that they're not documentaries.
Would you go into an alternate dimension? Or would you actually stay in this dimension and alter it? I don't know.
Are we talking about science fiction, Chris? Time travel isn't possible. It just isn't. As cool as it would be. Shall we get back to talking about flat Earth?
Who knows? Who knows what CERN's doing? CERN, I think CERN. You know what I think CERN is doing?
Trying to discover what the universe is made of and how it all works?
Trying to puncture this dome that's covering us.
Okay, I suppose we can go with that. I mean, it would be completely wrong, but when has that ever stopped a flat earther?
Or could it already be existing technology that they founded back in whenever that was invented?
Well, CERN was founded on the 29th of September 1954, and it was one of Europe's first joint ventures. I think 23 countries are involved. So do you not think that if CERN was keeping some big secret, that one of those 23 member countries would have accidentally let the cat out of the bag by now?
They dug up, shall we say, or accidentally found. How many other areas in New York here have been dug up and destroyed because they found history of previous civilizations?
Just one area. It's called Imagination Plaza. Tours start at never o'clock, Chris.
And I'm not talking about the ancient ruins or any bullshit thing. I am talking about ancient civilizations that have been here before us.
Oh, does this mean that Chris is starting to show an interest in Tartaria and the mud flood? Because that's certainly what it sounds like. You need another conspiracy theory like I need a subscription to the Hair Gel of the Month Club.
Okay, that's right. We're just renting this area out. We're just another civilization that's here, you know, on this flat land covered with a dome.
What?
I don't even know how the hell I got into this, and I forgot why I'm even making a video.
Well, if you were confused, imagine how we feel. And I don't know if this will help at all, but the title of your video was Ground Positioning System on Our Flat Earth.
Bastard. I had something to say to you about flat Earth. And I forgot what it was. All right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. I'll think of it and I'll just put another video out. You know, that's all.
Oh yeah, you do that, Chris. Always thinking of others, aren't you? What about me? What am I meant to do for the rest of this video then? Oh well, I'll try my best. I'm sure I can come up with something to make it entertaining.
That's all. But I want to get back to the ancient ruins and unearthing stuff that people don't know what it is, you know, technology from previous civilizations.
And would it be too much to expect some examples of this technology that you're referring to, or do we just have to fill in the blanks for ourselves again? And don't forget, Chris, at one point in our history, a knife or an axe would have been considered a technological breakthrough.
What happens to the people from that civilization?
They die. I mean, it happens to us all.
I don't know. I don't even know how God, he or she, whoever it may be, actually decides to a point when to get rid of that civilization and say, I'm going to create another civilization.
Yeah, I don't think it works that way, Chris, and I certainly know that God has got nothing to do with it. When ancient civilizations die out, it's for any number of reasons, like environmental changes, resource depletion, economic troubles, war and invasions, disease. And actually, now I think of it, if all those things are caused by God, then what sort of God is it that you worship?
I mean, once again, here we are. I was bitching in my kitchen.
Oh, really now? Well, there must be something going on in your kitchen then, because if you were bitching in your kitchen, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen that happen, would it?
Just stop this bullshit.
Nearly almost 10 years ago, or a little less than 10 years ago, about how smartphones haven't changed. Okay? That was many years ago. And have they changed since then? No.
For the sake of my own sanity, let's see how much smartphones have changed in the last 10 years, shall we? Smartphone. Hello, GPT. How are you today?
Hey, Creaky. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How's it going with you?
Yeah, pretty good. So I'm in the middle of making a video for my YouTube audience, and the flat earther I'm addressing has just said that smartphones have not changed one bit in the last 10 years. What's your response to that, GPT, being a digital assistant yourself?
Oh, that's a fun one. Let's see. Over the last 10 years, smartphones have gone from having small pixelated screens to almost bezel-less high-definition displays. Cameras have jumped from a few megapixels to professional grade with multiple lenses for different effects. Processing power, they've gone from struggling with simple tasks to running complex AI and AR apps smoothly. And let's not forget battery life, biometric security like face and fingerprint recognition, and advancements in connectivity with 5G. Saying smartphones haven't changed is like saying dinosaurs are still around because birds exist.
Yeah, smartphones haven't changed one bit, Chris.
No, they're trying to come up with the old screen and coming up with the clamshell, but they can't seem to get the technology because when you open up the phone and open it up into a bigger screen, it keeps flickering. They can't get that technology right.
I'm not sure why this has now become a tech video, but Chris, you're talking about the Samsung Z Flip 4, and if you ask my opinion, it's everybody's own fault for buying a Samsung phone. But that problem has been fixed. You're right in a way. Yeah, the technology when it was first released was probably released a little bit too early. But now there are lots of different foldable phones, and the resolution and the flickering on the screen is, well, it's not an issue anymore.
Sure, you know, there's technology in there now. Computer software that's better, faster. Your phone is maybe a couple of kilograms lighter, but it still is as delicate as the one that you had before.
So the best way you can think of proving to us that our smartphones haven't changed at all in the last 10 years is by listing off some of the ways our smartphones have changed over the last 10 years. Okay?
That's my rant on cell phones. That's my rant on everything when it comes down to technology. We have peaked at this point. We can never come up with anti-gravitational devices.
Oh, right, here we go. Anti-gravitational devices? Wouldn't they just be aeroplanes and helicopters and anything else that can put man up in the air?
All right, well, there are different propulsions that maybe do exist.
Whew, I tell you what, I'm relieved, Chris. I'm glad to see that you realize just how stupid that thing you said previously was.
Our so-called, I don't know what the hell he is anymore. He's certainly not president in my book. Just had one of the worst, and his speeches just get better, don't they? I mean, he is so bad. He walks like a robot, like a toddler. How anybody could possibly think that this person could be running anything but a hot dog stand, and I don't even think he can fucking do that.
Now, I don't want to say anything overly controversial here and upset people, but doesn't Joe Biden just walk like an 81-year-old man, which is exactly what he is? And I mean, how much worse a job can he do than, you know?
If it clears up this weekend, I'll be out there shooting stars with the camera.
Whew. I'm glad you added with the camera, CC.
And we're going to take a look at a few things, okay? There is so much to cover with Flat Earth and such...
I don't know what you were sighing for. I'm the one who's just made a Flat Earth video that's got absolutely nothing at all to do with Flat Earth. Thanks, Chris. You're always the old reliable one that I can get a laugh from.
The problem now is that these people are expecting a show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Nice to see you. It's been...
What moves? The sun does, follows you. Same with the moon. That follows you too, okay? But the stars at night, they don't. They're fixed. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County.
Hang on a second. How stupid are the people who watch CC? I mean, do they really need to be reminded of who you are and where you live in every video? Hang on a second. I watch a lot of CC videos. Yeah, let's just forget that part. Please subscribe.
Hello there.
Yay, CC's back. But before we take a look at what he's got to say for himself today, check out the community tab on the channel homepage. I'm doing an Ask Me Anything video for the next episode of the Creaky Blinder Show. So if you've got any burning questions you've always wanted to ask me, now's your chance.
I didn't really want to get into this yet, but I might as well.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure whatever it is, it'll be really, really sensible.
You know, because it's a great topic. It's something that you see every day. It's something that you could prove every day.
This is getting interesting.
If you have the right equipment.
Well, I don't want to brag or anything, but I've definitely got the right equipment.
And that would be the moon and the sun and the stars.
Oh, well, that doesn't make it very easy. I don't have a moon, a sun, and stars. Can I just use the moon, the sun, and the stars that are in space?
Okay, these are objects that you can see physically with your own eyes.
Well, that's very good, CC. Seeing is rooted in physiology. It starts with light hitting the retina at the back of your eye, where photoreceptor cells, or rods and cones, transform light into electrical signals. These signals travel along the optic nerve to the brain, where the visual cortex processes them into the images we see. It's like your eyes are the camera and your brain is the computer that edits and makes sense of all the pictures.
Yes, science!
Is that what you mean when you say you can... No?
Okay. Now, I want you to think about something.
No, I'm not pooping. It's my thinking face. They just happen to be very similar.
Remember, what was it, Nibiru? Remember back in the day, they claimed that there was a blacked out star that was traveling through our universe that are covering like planets and shit like that, or something like that. Well, one day maybe we'll see it or something. Well, that was a cover-up.
No, it wasn't. It was a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory, and it's often mentioned in predictions about the Earth encountering a catastrophic event. The idea originated from interpretations of ancient Mesopotamian writings, and it gained modern popularity as a supposed approaching planet or star that would collide with or pass near the Earth, causing global devastation. Global. Mainstream science doesn't support the existence of Nibiru, and astronomers have found zero evidence of any such object on a collision course with Earth. It's just one of those things that keeps popping up online, but it's not grounded in scientific fact. So no, it wasn't and isn't a cover-up, CC.
I think...
Yeah, I find that hard to believe, Chris.
When that came out, and I forget how many years ago it was,
I know this one. The Nibiru conspiracy theory first gained attention in 1995 when Nancy Leader, a woman who claimed to be in contact with extraterrestrials from the Zeta Reticuli star system, posted about it on her website.
I think they were thinking that would be the powers to be, or whoever is running this world.
So it's they that run the world. Are you trying to tell me that Beyonce was lying?
Who run the world? Damn. Who run the world? Damn. That we were close, that we figured something out.
Seriously, Chris? You can't even figure out how to film your videos in 16:9 format. I have to do it for you. And think about it, flat earthers figuring something out? Yeah, I find that hard to believe. There's a reason they all wear slip-on shoes, Chris.
But for an excuse, you know, to explain to us why there might be something behind the sun.
Well, I'm sure there are lots of things behind the sun. Where exactly are you going with this?
That's possibly projecting it.
Now, I'm sorry I asked, but please continue.
I want you to think about the placement of something. 2 spaces to the left, 1 space up.
1, 2, oh, and 1 up. Right, what now?
There's something black that's possibly projecting the sun into us.
Now, far be it from me to ask a stupid question. But if this something is black and it's in space behind the sun and space is, well, it's really black, how do you know, Chris?
If I was a creator and it was one of the most powerful things in the sky, I would never want the people who are contained have access to it.
To the sun? Right, okay, we'll completely ignore the fact that it's 93 million miles away, but what exactly do you mean by having access to the sun?
Because they could destroy it. And, like, our species obviously has shown time and time again, we like destroying things.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you on this occasion, Chris. Human beings do have a tendency to destroy things. I think the sun's pretty safe. Well, from us, anyway.
Once we find something, we want to see how to get out. We'll shoot some missiles off for, I don't know, 5 years and find out that we live under a dome. But now we know exactly how far up it is because we've shot some rockets up there, the atomic bombs. Remember Fishbowl? Yes.
But Operation Fishbowl was a series of high-altitude nuclear tests conducted in 1962 with the primary goal of understanding the effects of nuclear explosions in the upper atmosphere and out of space. Oh, call me an idiot for asking this.
You're an idiot.
But wouldn't that be pretty solid proof that there isn't a dome? Or is it like a special anti-nuclear missile dome that just didn't get damaged?
You might not be able to see any of that or find any more of it on YouTube because they're suppressing it.
Well, if they are suppressing it, the person at YouTube who's in charge of the suppression department has no clue what they're doing. Because if you type Operation Fishbowl into YouTube, you get dozens of videos about it.
This is quite possibly where this object is that's projecting the sun. People have said that it might be outside of the dome. Okay, that could be very well possible. It would make sense.
To you, maybe, but to the rest of us, absolutely not. Because you say that the Earth is flat, covered by a dome, and that space is fake. So what exactly is outside of the dome?
Where are we? I don't know. It's like we're not anywhere.
I know we've reached the barrier down in Antarctica.
Oh, you know, do you, CC? Well, I seriously doubt that as well, because you don't even know what shape the Earth is.
I know for the 30 years that they were down there, they finally breached the wall. I don't know what they've done with it. I'm sure they've tried to cut into it. God knows, it probably heals itself. I don't know what the fuck it's made of.
Ice. And it's not a wall. And even if it was a wall, it wouldn't be very effective at holding in the world's oceans because ice floats on water.
I have no idea. None of us do. Because we can't get down there. We're not allowed to go down there.
Then somebody'd better explain that to these people. And these people. And these people.
Don't you understand that? It's been militarized. That is the way you lock everything up.
No, there's no polite way of saying this, but CC and any other flat earther that stumbles across this video who claims that we can't visit Antarctica because it's a military zone, you are quite simply wrong. You can literally go to a travel agency right now and book a cruise to Antarctica.
And that is the way you hide everything, is you militarize everything.
So the Antarctic Treaty, which came into effect on June 23rd, 1961, and bans all military activity in Antarctica, actually proves that Antarctica has been militarized. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
That's the sky, that's the f***ing ice wall, that's the whole area down there, Antarctica, lock it off.
Now, and this is a serious question, is it locked off to everyone or only certain people? Because about 50,000 tourists visit Antarctica each year, and there are about 1,000 people on land bases at all times, and that raises to 4,000 during the short summer months. It's not hidden, it's not secret or off limits. Now, under the terms of the Antarctic Treaty, there are no national territorial claims. Those countries that have previously made claims were all founding members of the treaty. And there's no government in Antarctica. So in a way, it's treated similarly to the open seas in that it belongs to everyone and no one. The area is so vast that guarding it, if anybody wanted to, would be virtually impossible. The coastline itself is in the order of 30,000 kilometers long, and there is hardly anyone there, and the people who are there already have full-time jobs doing other stuff.
The North Pole, lock it off.
so we don't find the Black Mountain?
Oh my word, you really are a lost cause, Chris, aren't you? First of all, there is no land at the North Pole. And secondly, if anybody was worried about what might get found if anybody explored the North Pole, even though there's no land there, I think it would be far more important to make sure that Santa's workshop stays safely hidden and the Black Mountains are in Wales.
It's all locked off. We're like children in here.
No, it's not. But I do agree that you're like children, and that is based on the assumption that you mean flat earthers.
Once that's proven, that there's something behind the sun that's projecting it, and it's not this Nibiru or Nibiru, whatever the they made up, some stupid name. Once we prove that, that's it. It's done. It's finished.
There's a bit of a theme forming here, Chris, and I can't help but notice you say quite often in your videos that once we prove that, then the Earth will definitely be flat. Once we prove that, it's finished. Well, how about instead of just saying it over and over again, you actually go out and prove something? Apart from the fact that you're a gullible idiot, I mean, because that's pretty self-evident.
That is something anybody can see. You just need the right filtration system for it, and once you get that on your equipment, then you'll be able to see it.
See what, though? Do you mean the projector that you think is hidden behind the sun? Is it solar powered? I mean, it has to be, because... Wait, what was I saying? Carry on, Chris. I need to compose myself.
Okay? I'm just going to leave it at that. That gives you something to think about. Think about what is going to happen when that comes out.
Right, now I've been trying to think of a witty way to illustrate how ridiculous what Chris is saying, but I just can't find the words. But what I did do is type it into ChatGPT, and this is what it came up with. So is this what you think is actually causing the sun to exist? Maybe seeing it will show you how completely insane it is.
Okay. All right. Now I want you to think about the movement. Okay. When you're driving in the car on the highway, all right, what moves? The sun does, follows you. Same with the moon. That follows you too.
Well, that's quite the claim, Chris, to which my only reply is, wow, you must have one hell of an impressive entourage. Next time you plan a trip, maybe you can ask the sun and the moon if they can split the gas bill with you. But in all seriousness, for objects as far away as the sun and the moon, it's more about how our brain perceives distance and scale in relation to very distant objects. The sun and the moon are so far away that from our perspective on Earth, they do appear as if they're following us. And when you move, the angle at which you see these distant objects changes so minutely that your brain doesn't register any change in position relative to nearer objects. And this lack of relative movement makes it seem as though the sun and the moon are following you. But they're not.
Okay? But the stars at night, they don't. They're fixed.
Now, the stars appear not to move for reasons similar to why the sun and the moon seem to follow you. It's all about distance, Chris. Stars are so incredibly far away from Earth that over short periods, like the course of a night or during a car journey, their movement across the sky is not easily noticeable to the naked eye. And these vast distances make their motion due to Earth's rotation appear very slow. And without a point of reference like the horizon, it's hard to see the movement without watching it closely for a while.
They don't move at all. But the only thing that does move is a reflection. The sun is a reflection and the moon is a reflection. That's why it moves with you.
So let me just get this straight, Christopher. So the sun and the moon are a projection of a reflection, or are they a reflection of a projection?
Suns are probably projections too. I don't know, but they don't seem to move at night.
Do you think man will ever walk on the sun?
No. The sun is too hot. It is not a good place to go to.
What happens if they went in winter when the sun is cold?
Now, whenever I make a video about CC, I get comments like this. I'm getting so fed up with CC. Morons just get worse and worse. I swear he's getting worse. So I thought we would check together and answer the question, is CC getting worse? Or has he always been an idiot? Please subscribe.
I spent close to 40 years thinking we lived on a ball. But then a light bulb went off, and I became the smartest person in the world, just like you are for being here.
Well, ha.
Hang on a second. So thinking that the Earth is flat and that space is fake makes you the smartest person in the world. Okay. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and say we may have already answered the question, but we may have already answered the question.
I really want to talk to you about the space shuttle. And I was on somebody's channel the other day watching this, and he had a lot of interesting things to say, and I'm going to share it with you right now.
Ooh, very cool and interesting. Now, the Space Shuttle program was the 4th human spaceflight program carried out by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
I believe his channel is UAP, and he's got plenty of subs, so, you know, just look for it. It's called the Space Shuttle Hoax.
Chris, it was going so well. Okay, why was the Space Shuttle a hoax?
And he discussed how possibly the middle rocket, that's the orange rocket, is actually filled with helium. And these things are like bouncy houses, you know, and that's all it basically is. And
Wait, take your time now, Porky Pig. Middle rocket on the space shuttle is the external tank. It's the big orange tank that provides the fuel, liquid hydrogen, and an oxidizer, liquid oxygen, for the shuttle's 3 main engines during launch. It's basically the shuttle's fuel tank, but calling it a rocket might be a bit of a stretch, CC.
Which is an amazing thought, because I want you to go back, way back, to the first space shuttle launch that we had, and just take a quick look at it, you know? Uncover the lies, because this thing does not look like a solid rocket booster at all. I mean, it really doesn't.
On April 12, 1981, NASA's Space Shuttle Columbia embarked on its maiden voyage, marking the beginning of a new era in space exploration. And this groundbreaking mission, known as STS-1, was the first time a reusable spacecraft was launched into orbit and returned safely to Earth. And I'm no expert, but those 2 big white things either side of the big orange tank look a lot like solid rocket boosters to me. What did you expect them to look like, Chris?
Go back to the Challenger shuttle disaster. Well, fake disaster, of course.
But the Challenger disaster was witnessed by a huge audience, both in person and on television. Now, it's estimated that about 17% of the American population watched the launch live on TV, which means in real time, as it was happening, Chris. And that translates to roughly 42 million people, and that's without the thousands of spectators who were present at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida to witness the launch firsthand.
When that reflection that you see of the sun right at the tip of that rocket, it just looks, it doesn't look like it's reflecting off a metal. It looks like it's reflecting off of some sort of like plastic layer or something like that.
So because you don't like the way the sun was reflecting off the Challenger craft, then that makes the whole thing fake?
And I think it very well could be, because if you look at these launches, about, I don't know, 5 seconds before they let these things go, you can see the thing is wobbling a little bit, almost like it's losing its balance. How could that be? This thing is solid, you know? I mean, this has got 3 solid rocket boosters supposedly on it that weigh God knows what, and then the shuttle on it. How could this thing just be like hovering around and then it takes off?
Wobbling observed when the Challenger was about to take off is known as twang, and it occurs due to the flexing of the space shuttle stack. You know, the shuttle itself, the solid rocket boosters, and the big orange tank in the middle. And it happens as the shuttle's main engines ignite and is a perfectly normal and expected part of the shuttle's launch sequence, indicating the immense forces and the mechanical interplay between the shuttle's components. And it was visible in the Challenger launch as well as all other space shuttle launches, so I don't see your point.
All right, the 2 rockets on the side, yes, those are actually rockets. I'm talking about the cylinder in the middle, possibly is a bouncy house filled with helium. And it would explain a lot. When these things explode, they explode into a billion pieces. There's no trace of anything. How could that be?
This morning, the discovery undersea of a large section of the Space Shuttle Challenger.
I don't know, Chris. I guess it's just one of life's mysteries. But you know what isn't a mystery? the fact that helium is not explosive because it's an inert gas, which means it doesn't react chemically with other substances under normal circumstances.
There's no metal, there's no nothing, it's just nothing. All they have pieces of are the shuttle. They get pieces of that because that probably, that is real. Well, not real. It's going to go into space because there is no space. They curve off into the Bermuda Triangle and they either ditch them or they blow them up.
Right, okay, there was a lot there. So the space shuttle is real but not real because space is fake, and all spacecrafts that we see take off get flown out to the Bermuda Triangle to get blown up. And you actually believe this stuff?
And also in the flat Earth, I did want to bring up some other things. No, sorry, I had to mention that. They're just walking. I got my windows rolled down. It's a beautiful day here down in NYC. Come on down, enjoy yourself. Talk about flat Earth with somebody. Maybe you'll wake somebody up.
Or make them pee their pants laughing. Right, Chris?
You're not allowed anywhere near these things when they're about to launch, nor are you allowed anywhere near when it's just being set up and they're doing a preparatory launch on it. No, you're not allowed anywhere near this thing. You know why? Because if you really took a look at this ridiculous fake thing that NASA puts up there, those snakes, you'll see that is probably a helium balloon up there, and the space shuttle doesn't have any seats in it. It's just completely hollowed out with nothing in it. Why would there be? Oh yeah, that's right, because of the astronauts actually go into the shuttle and they wave to us. No, they don't. They go in there and then they sneak out like little snakes that they are. And then they get back off.
Look how angry he gets just at mentioning the word NASA. Chris, come on, you're going to do yourself a mischief. Now, most of what he just said doesn't even deserve a reply because it was all really childish, about the astronauts waving out the window and then sneaking off and getting off the shuttle. I mean, really, come on, you're a grown man. But as far as not being able to be too close when a shuttle used to launch, it's not because of blast pressure or shock waves or the toxic fumes it creates.
Oh, man. It's just so bad. Check out his channel. He'll tell you all about the shuttle. I'm going to agree with him on it because it sounds really true. Everything that I've seen, just study these. Study it when the rocket's like kind of wobbling around a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? And you'll see the lies. And you'll uncover, after like 3 years, I'm still uncovering things. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but you're not, are you? You're not discovering anything. All you're doing... Look, this video is no different to any of your other videos. It all boils down to one simple thing. If you think something looks a little off, by default, that makes it fake. All you're showing, Chris, is your complete lack of understanding of pretty much anything that's based in reality.
I mean, all of these years now, I'm still uncovering things, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
But Chris, you couldn't uncover your ass if you lived in a nudist colony. Watching YouTube videos from other creators who already think like you, or don't think, whichever the case may be, is not proving anything other than the fact that you are the most gullible human being I have ever come across in my life. You'll believe anything except the truth.
About Hollywood, about the sports, about the government, about the billionaires, about all the companies that are out there. That's why flat earthers can't stop, because there's so much shit out there. There's so much material that we're dealing with here.
Well, thank you for proving my point for me. What the hell do any of those things have to do with the shape of the earth?
That we've got to wake people up. It's not only it is all about flat earth, but it's not only waking people up to the fact like that. Take some other subject and wake them up about that subject, and then get into flat earth. That's the best way to do it.
So what you're saying is then start off by telling a person you come across a load of little lies that you can make them believe, so that when you get to the biggest lie of all time, that the earth is flat, then they're more likely to believe that. Is that your system for converting people to flat earth? How's that going for you?
You really have to do it like that. Just find out what they're in, sports especially. All right, sports, everybody loves sports. I felt like I was the only white Caucasian who hated sports. Apparently I'm not.
Hello, editing Creaky here. I'm just giving the video a watch through now and adding some B-roll and sound, all editing good stuff. I didn't notice this when I was actually recording the video, but did he just say he thinks he's the only white Caucasian male that doesn't like sports? Now, far be it from me to correct somebody, I would never dream of doing such a thing, but the use of the word white was kind of redundant, SEC. That's like saying wet water, or saying ATM machine when the M already stands for machine. Anyway, back to the video. Oh, crap! That means I've got something in common with one of the stupidest flat earthers on YouTube. I hate sports as well, Chris.
All right, I think sports is the biggest bullshit racket out there. None of it's fucking true.
Well, hang on just a sec. What do you mean sports isn't true? I may not like it, but I can see that people play it and enjoy watching it. How the hell could sports not be true?
You know, it's a short career, so they better save their money. But who cares? Who cares about them? They don't care about you.
Well, you clearly care, don't you? Otherwise you wouldn't be ranting about it on YouTube, you moron.
I'm going to get into the stars with you later on.
Oh, do we have to? I don't know if I've got the energy left.
I have a philosophy about them, and possibly what the firmament could be made out of. Because I think it's probably made out of the most rarest object on this flat plane. Okay, and that's why I think the stars have that, well, not stars, but whatever. When you look at them, they glitter. Okay?
Don't you mean twinkle? Didn't your mother ever sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star to you?
Now, the watering effect could be our atmosphere. I'm going to agree with you on that because the atmosphere is very thick. That's why we can't see across the ocean to another continent.
Right, Chris, while you are umming and be careful you don't hurt yourself, I've got a question. I couldn't help but notice you just referenced the atmosphere. Not the flat, the atmosphere. So, care to elaborate? I'm just curious how you can have an atmosphere on a flat Earth.
All right, anyway, more on that later. I just wanted to get something out there and just say hi to everybody, you know, and just let you know what I've been up to the last a few days, because it's been nerve-wracking, you know, it really has. But everything seems to be good.
Right, I'm sorry I'm whispering, but I don't want Chris to hear me. But earlier on, remember he said he was going to talk about chemtrails? I think he's forgotten.
Oh, the chemtrails.
Ah, crap.
The chemtrails, all right? This is another explanation for the chemtrails, too. When they ditched the shuttle in the Bermuda Triangle or wherever it may be, they're going to relaunch. They actually have a space shuttle somewhere else, maybe Area 51 or something like that. I have no idea. Which is a jet, yeah, basically. I mean, it takes off. It doesn't need to go piggyback on some plane somewhere or piggyback on rockets. It's a regular plane, guys. I got bad news for you. So they get the one that they're actually going to show land. All right, and that's when I think they start doing the chemtrails. They fly this fucking thing up in the sky. There's chemtrails all over the place. There are clouds all over the place. You can't see shit anyway, you know. And then they fly it right down and show it off to everybody. Yeah, we just went to the moon. We all did this. Oh, all right, anyway.
Now I want to be very careful here not to misrepresent anything young Christopher just said. So usually people say that chemtrails are the government trying to control our minds by spraying chemicals on us, which is laughable anyway, and we've been into the mechanics of how that would work before on the channel a long time ago. But Chris's idea about chemtrails is that, he said that plenty of times, but he's now also saying that part of the reason that they, whoever they are spraying the skies with chemtrails is to hide the fact that when the space shuttle or any other spacecraft takes off, that the chemtrails are like a camouflage system so that they can hide the fact that they're actually ditching these multi-billion-dollar spacecrafts into the ocean and not really sending them anywhere. Brilliant.
God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around. Carry a little pad and pencil with you. You wind up with 30 or 40 names by the end of the day. Look at it this way. Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
What the hell's going on?
There's a couple things I want to talk to you about.
No, I'm not trying to tell you what to do or anything, Chris, but have you ever thought of deciding what it is you want to talk about before you hit record?
Since there's going to be absolutely no news anymore.
No news? Aw, why?
It's just all going to be politics and bullshit like that.
So there is going to be news. Politics is news? Don't start that again. I can't do the same joke twice in a video.
Please subscribe.
Now, when it comes to videos about CC, you lot seem pretty divided. Some say I make too many. Others of you keep sending me his content. So to keep it interesting, in today's video, I'll be responding to Chris like I usually do, but this time with a little help from CC's own comment section. Let's give it a bash, shall we?
They have to keep people divided. That's the only way they can win. See, flat earthers aren't.
Seriously? Now, I've watched a hell of a lot of flat earth content over the last 5 years, and saying that flat earthers aren't divided is like saying penguins might start a flight school. Flat earthers aren't divided, yeah, right. And someone in CC's comment section has an opinion I can really get on board with, and they say the only thing that's divided is his reality.
Yeah, we might disagree on exactly what we live on, but we all know we live on a flat land, stationary. Covered with a dome, covered with something.
And therein lies the problem. Now, if there was even the smallest chance that the Earth did turn out to be flat, all these so-called flat Earth researchers would be coming to the same conclusions. They'd all be finding the same evidences. They'd all be finding the same clues. But the only thing they ever find is that the Earth is a globe.
But they have to keep, you know, the people that think they live on a spinning wet ball divided, and that's very easy. Very easy. It's been proven time and time again.
Chris, do you even know what context is? What's been proven time and time again? Oh, and straight from your own comment section, Desert File says this is embarrassing AF. And he's not wrong.
Bring up the election. Oh, bring up sports. Bring up tennis. Bring up the mosque. It's so easy to keep these people divided. I mean, it's a no-brainer, man or woman.
There you go. See, that wasn't hard. So people are divided over politics and religion. Oh, duh. Although I fail to see what any of this has to do with the shape of the Earth, and it seems like Gray Smith agrees with me. He says this has to be a wind-up. Not even CC can genuinely be this stupid.
Cat or dog?
Dog?
Really has astounded me how people have fallen for this hook, line, and sinker, and how I fell for it. I am going to try to explain flat Earth to somebody, okay?
Well, I'm somebody, and I, for one, would love to hear you explain flat... Explain? I, for one, would love to hear you explain flat Earth, because as one of my favourite flat Earthers, you don't talk about flat Earth an awful lot.
It really, here, let me give you an example. Like, okay, I was talking to somebody the other day who's a big Biden supporter, but I was comparing it to flat Earth, you know. But let's see if I can do the correlation. Let's check it out. Let's have a little fun, shall we? Come on! We're all covered with a dome. It's flat. You've been lied to all of your life. You might as well laugh. Don't feel claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic? Well, I'm not entirely convinced that's the correct pronunciation for that word, but okay, we'll go with it for now. But I do agree with you, Chris. Your videos are a lot of fun, which is why I respond to so many of them. Although I'm not quite certain that's what you mean by you've got to laugh.
Feel warmth. That's how I feel. I feel warm.
Well, that's probably that local sun you always talk about, Chris. I mean, if it was as close as you think it is, then yeah, you would feel warm. Very warm.
Knowing that we're in this world, that we're not spinning in space, that we'll never have a problem with meteors or anything, and space doesn't exist, and it's all bullshit. It's quite comical.
Now, as this comment says, even though we have millions of hours of scientific calculations, maths, provable models, and data, and your only rebuttal is nah, you think it's funny that people are able to accept that we live on an oblate spheroid.
So anyway, so he brings up some points of how good of a job Biden's been doing. I'm sorry. I can't say that without laughing.
And yet you can say that the Earth is flat and that space is fake without even cracking a smile.
Okay? Because he is the worst president in the entire history of the world. That bottom line.
Oh, I don't know, mind. I think Boris Johnson may give him a run for his money, and let's not forget that Liz Truss didn't even manage 2 months in power.
He's done nothing. He's broken so many treasons. You know what I'm talking about.
Not really, and I wonder sometimes if you know what you're talking about.
Treasons. I meant to say treasons, okay? I'm sure there'll be somebody on the comment that had already caught it. Have fun.
Well, there's always someone in the comments, pal, like this guy. Why so angry, bro, since you're obviously the smartest person in the world, and you and a handful of flirf buddies have all the answers? You should be happily providing evidence of your claims, not ranting in your van down by the river. Which is very true, because I have never, ever seen CC present a single piece of evidence to support his claims. And I suspect that this video will be no different.
And it's like flat Earth. See, they had to create this spinning wet ball. Okay, they had to create space. They had to create NASA.
They had to create a wet spinning ball. They had to create space. They had to create NASA. Who the hell is they? They must be exhausted.
They had to keep this lie going. And it's working. Okay? Because they haven't faked a moon mission in over 50 years now.
No, they never faked the moon mission. I mean, why would they when we actually went there?
Okay, we're talking 2-3 generations of people that still think we went to the moon.
Yeah, but that's because we went to the moon, isn't it?
Okay. Alright. See? Still think we went to the moon. And that we landed there. And we haven't been there since. And we have no plans of going back at all. And every time they do bring a plan up.
This comment says it all. I couldn't come up with anything better myself. No plans to go to the moon, eh, Chris? Artemis 3 is being built now for launch to the moon in late 2025, early 2026. Can't wait to watch your videos after we land on the moon again. Exactly. But I'm sure it'll all just be CGI and NASA fakery. CGI.
Something happens. We forgot to do this. Oh my God, I don't know. Another year, another 10 years, another 15 years. When the f*** is everybody going to wake up and say, just look at that?
Look at what? You do realize that getting man to the moon isn't like going for an outing in your van, don't you, Chris? You can't just nip into Wawa and say fill it up with regular.
Don't you find that suspicious? Just the fact that we haven't been anywhere in over 50 years. And there are no plans on the scoreboard. Nothing on the horizon. Nothing being built right now as we speak. Nothing. Except some ships that are going up in the atmosphere and pretending like they're in space. And they buy it. They fight for it. They will fight for it. And they can't give it up.
Oh, you haven't got to tell me, Chris. There's nothing worse than somebody fighting for something completely ridiculous and they won't give it up.
They come up with every solution of bullshit against us and they can't get it. They just can't get it.
What can't they get? Oh, is it why there are still people that believe the Earth is flat in 2024? Because, yeah, I struggle with that a bit myself.
50 years. Nothing. Nothing at all. They could never, ever fake it.
At last, something we can agree on. You're right, Chris. They could never, ever fake it. It would be way too expensive to do. Believe it or not, in 1969, when we first landed on the moon, it was cheaper to actually land on the moon than it would have been to fake it in TV studios.
They will never land anybody anywhere. Anywhere. They can't fake it anymore. Our technology is surpassed. I can only imagine what kind of technology they have. If we have this shit now, whoa, they're probably 20, 30, 40 years in the future with technology. God knows what they have.
Now I'm going to have to speculate a little bit here, but I assume when he talks about they, he's actually talking about NASA. And I'm sure you're right, Chris. I'm sure NASA do have technologies at their disposal that aren't available to members of the public. But if you're honestly sitting there trying to expect people to believe that with this advanced technology, it just makes it easier for them to fake things, then sorry, pal, but I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
Night vision goggles, that's nothing. That's shit. God knows what. I can't even come up with ideas. I don't even know how they would fake it to begin with anyway.
Well, that really helps your cause, doesn't it, you genius? If you don't know how they fake it, what that means is everything you say in your videos is just conjecture. Because the way you present yourself in your videos, anybody would be quite justified in thinking that you secretly have all the answers and you just don't want to share them. Well, clearly not.
And how big is the magic pack in the back going to be this time? Is it going to be a foot? You know, the backpack? You know, the magic backpack. The magic one.
Now, I hate to have to say this, but what the f*** are you on about now?
Yes, the fairy tale magic pack that kids are running to school with. That pack right there. Yeah, that's what the astronauts wear, okay? And apparently it just completely has an unlimited amount of air, okay? Takes care of blowing up like the Goodyear blimp. It does so many things. It's unbelievable, but we don't even know what's in it.
Do you mean this? Because if you do, it's a little bit more than a backpack, Chris. Now, on the back of the spacesuit is a pack that houses the supplies and equipment to make the suits work. It contains the oxygen the astronauts breathe and that pressurizes the suit. A regulator in the backpack keeps the suit at the correct pressure. A fan circulates oxygen through the suit and life support system where the carbon dioxide the astronauts exhale is removed from the suit. Now, the pack provides electricity for the suit and holds a two-way radio for communication as well. And it also contains water for cooling the garment, a chiller to cool the water, and a pump that circulates the chilled water. Now, I'm not really sure where you get the idea that it has an infinite supply of breathable oxygen from, but then again, I'm not really sure where you get any of your ideas from, so you were saying?
We have no idea. Nobody knows what's in it. It's a magic pack, a fairy tale pack.
But I just explained it, maybe you didn't. Is my microphone working?
It's unbelievable. You know, and also the mere fact that we haven't even dug down more than 8 miles. No more than 8 miles. But yet you're given photographs, diagrams and drawings of more bullshit you could possibly imagine of not only Earth, but of Mars!
There's a bloke from around my hood, Staines, called Rainbow Jeremy, who reject everything to do with science. He just chill at home, he smoke his own homegrown, and check this, he don't have a telly. I ain't shitting you. He ain't got no technology in it. You can check out his website.
The Earth isn't flat. I know, hold your applause. We've been onto this round Earth idea for a few millennia now. Every experiment, and I do mean every experiment, even those carried out by our flat Earth friends, ends up being an accidental tribute to the globe. And then there's CC, the star of today's Point and Laugh project. He's like the one band that only knows one song but keeps playing an encore. We've heard it, CC. Now, some of you say, Creaky, you're obsessed with Chris. And to that I say, maybe. But can you blame me? It's like reality TV without the budget. You keep sending me these CC classics asking for my take. What am I meant to do? Ignore him? That's like ignoring a kitten playing piano on the internet. Impossible! So buckle up because we're diving into another episode of CC's wacky world of not so flat Earth. Please subscribe. Sorry, Chris, do you want us to come back when you're less busy, or should we just wait?
Making a cup of coffee.
Ha! You think coffee's real? No, wait. White with 2 sugars for me, though, but I don't like milk coffee whitener if you have it. Oh, thank you very much.
I'll get into that in a minute.
Sorry, I thought we had stopped for a lunch break.
This video is more for Google. You see, I know what you're up to, Google. I know you're suppressing us from telling the truth.
But I found this video on YouTube, which is a company owned by Google. So if they are suppressing you, they're not doing a very good job, are they?
Alright, so that 23-year-old kid that's behind the computer, watch my video right now? F*** you.
Now, I'm not a YouTube expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have been doing this long enough to know that that isn't the best way to get people to subscribe to your channel, CC. But I'm always open to trying new things, so this is a personal message from me straight to you watching this now, especially if you're 23. F*** you. Have you subscribed yet? Oh, where are you going now? All right, you're back.
The problem is that I have a problem with NASA, and yes, I might sometimes go on to the NASA live feed and troll the channel.
Hang on a second, so are you honestly trying to tell us that you think YouTube or Google is trying to suppress your videos and your comment section because you troll another channel, namely NASA? Tell me you think you're really important without saying you think you're really important.
I have enough trolls myself.
Sure you don't, Chris.
But I have to troll that channel because I know it's all bullshit.
Yeah, NASA bullshit, we get it, you dislike NASA. But can you please how big is your coffee cup, Chris? I went along with it at first because I thought I could make some stupid jokes about it, but now it's getting out of hand.
All the clouds are standing still. That live feed doesn't make any sense at all to me.
Well, why didn't you just start with that? I mean, if it doesn't make sense to a flat earther, then it's obviously fake.
Okay? But the problem I have is that I can't leave comments on my videos to people.
Well, there's a couple of potential fixes, Christopher. First of all, have you checked that your keyboard's plugged in? Because, you know, flat earther. And secondly, you haven't accidentally changed your channel category to suitable for children. Because if you have, then you can't comment. But I find it really peculiar that you think Google is out to get you. Now, they could stop you uploading altogether, but they've not done that. They've just removed your ability to comment on your own videos. Okay?
That I would like to speak to. I could just give them hearts and checks, that's all I can do. When I try to press the comment button, all of a sudden things get obscure. They, it goes into cat lock, and I'm typing, and there's nothing happening.
And finally, the coffee machine has shut up. Now, we hope we haven't got to listen to you slurping 3 liters of coffee for the rest of the video.
You see how long it took me to make that cup of coffee?
Well, we couldn't miss it, could we? Coffee's got a lot to answer for.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to think about during this period of time. I like milk in my coffee and sugar. How long it took you to figure out that the Earth is flat?
Probably nowhere near as long as it's taken you to make a cup of bloody coffee.
Took you a while, didn't it? It sure did.
Chris, we're both a bit too long in the tooth to be playing peekaboo. Boo!
However, during this period of time, you think you can sit down with somebody over a cup of coffee and teach them that the Earth is flat.
There isn't enough coffee in the world to be able to convince anybody that the Earth is flat, so you may need to set your sights a little bit lower.
It's impossible. Can't do it.
Well, you haven't got to. It was just a suggestion.
Not over a cup of coffee. Not at all. No. In fact, the only way you're going to be able to figure out that the Earth is flat is to do your research. No one's going to tell you.
You are joking, right? I mean, if there was nobody telling anybody that the Earth was flat, then why am I here making a video about a guy in New York making a cup of coffee? And this is just one of the many reasons why I dislike being asked what I do for a living.
You gotta go down there. And it's a big one.
All right, no need to show off. And Chris, come here. You and I both know that when you get to our age, it's not as big as it used to be, especially in the cold.
As a flat earther, as long as I've been doing this, I had no idea. I used to look as mountains as plate tectonics. But now I know they're trees.
They're what now?
But now I know they're trees.
Yeah, I thought that's what you said. Okay, why are they trees?
Well, the sky isn't blue because of the sun being projected onto the atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. Sunlight is made up of different colours, and when it hits the atmosphere, the shorter blue wavelengths are scattered in all directions by the gases and particles in the air. And this scattering causes the sky to look blue to us when we look up at it.
It's blue because it's sky ice.
Sky ice? What's in that coffee?
I know what we live on is a flat earth.
No, I'm not usually a big fan of copying what other people do in their YouTube videos, Chris, but I really like this angle.
Flat, stationary. And we're not moving. There is no movement. And you'll never feel any movement. As a matter of fact, no one's ever been able to prove that there is movement.
Now, I think we both know that's not true, Chrissy Poos.
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Pendulum? No. Sorry guys, it doesn't work.
Now, the only pendulum I can think that he may be talking about is Foucault's pendulum, which is a really cool experiment that shows Earth is rotating. It's a long pendulum free to swing in any direction, and the key is it needs to be able to swing continuously and evenly. When you start it swinging in one direction, it keeps moving back and forth in the same direction. But over time, you notice the path of the pendulum seems to rotate. And this isn't because the pendulum is changing direction, it's actually the Earth rotating beneath it.
No, there's no movement at all whatsoever. Snow. I'm about to release a video right now. You see how it's... Yeah, the snowflakes are coming down in different angles. Not possible on a spinning wet ball.
Now, dare I ask if you're going to explain to us exactly why that is? I mean, I'm just a stupid globie, and I always thought that snowflakes didn't fall straight down due to wind and air currents. You know, as they fall, snowflakes can get caught in different air currents and winds, which can push them in various directions, which does make their path to the ground seem pretty ziggy-zaggy. Or the shape and size of the flakes. You know, each snowflake has its own unique shape and size, which affects how it falls. Some might be flat and act like a parachute, while others are more compact and fall faster. So it's none of those things then, it's actually just because the Earth is flat. Ah, silly me.
Hail. Hail. The weatherman can't even explain hail.
Can I try? As long as you don't mind, CC. Hail begins as water droplets up in a thunderstorm cloud. These clouds are super tall and reach way up where it's freezing cold. Strong updrafts in the storm, like big upward winds, carry these droplets high into the clouds where they freeze. And as these little ice balls fall through the clouds, they might get lifted up again by another updraft. Each time this happens, they collect more and more water, which freezes and adds another layer. So they get bigger and bigger, and when these chunks of ice get too heavy for the updrafts to hold up, they fall to the ground as hail. Nailed it.
Storms that are coming in from California that are all of a sudden predicted to hit New York on a flat, stationary land, that's possible. On a spinning wet ball, that weather over there is not going to hit New York.
Now, I could give another really long-winded explanation about the fact that Earth's shape has a direct impact on the weather we see, but seeing as we've spent 50% of this video talking about CC making a cup of coffee, it seems quite pointless at this stage.
Sucks. Alright, just touching base with everybody. So no, you're not going to be able to tell anybody and explain to everybody that the Earth is flat over a cup of coffee. You've got to give them little seeds and let them grow. Start with NASA.
Okay, cut.
Wow, Neil Armstrong. Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Oh, there's a tape delay and with all solar winds.